Hey guys, it's PewdiePie here with another card trick. Another card trick tutorial. So I'm going to show you guys what to do when a spectator asks you, hey, can you do that trick with one hand? And you go, yes, I can. I can do a lot of things with one hand. I could juggle with one hand. I could wave with one hand. I could tell somebody to come over here with one hand. I could ejaculate with one hand. So here we have a card trick that we're going to do with this principle in mind here. So we're actually going to be using one hand for this. I'm going to put this hand, well, you could kind of guess. But we give the deck just a simple cut here. And we're actually able to cut right to an ace. I know what you're saying. That was entirely luck. Could you do that again, Mr. Magic? And the answer is, I hope I can. So if we just give the deck another one of these cuts, we see that we cut to a 4, which is a little bit interesting. But guess what? This 4 actually indicates the position of the next ace. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Ace! Didn't see that coming, huh? Cunt. Maybe you should have a little bit more trust in my skill. So we give the deck another cut, hopefully about there. That should be roughly where I think we should go for. And guess what? We come to a 3. Oh boy, you don't think that means that if we count 1, 2, 3, we get another ace? Oh boy, the intrigue here is palpable. You could almost taste it with a knife. We'll do this one more time. This time being a little bit more fancy. A little bit more fancy. And this time if we cut right to the middle, we get a 5. Oh boy, lucky me. A 5, meaning that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we get... And his name is John C. JK, I did that on purpose. There's a 5 of hearts meme. You should, old school pig cake fans know what the 5 of hearts meme is. It's of course the next, oh boy, last ace. Yeah, that's the trick. That's the trick, guys. Oh, you want to know how it's done? I guess that's why you stuck around. All right, so here's the hot setup you need for this trick. You need a hot and ready setup, ready for the trick. So you grab your 4 aces. That's the first step. You get your 4 aces, and then you're gonna grab cards like I like using a 3, 4, and a 5 here. So you use you get a 4, maybe a 3, maybe just short cards. That you don't want like a 9 because then it becomes too long. You don't want like a 10. So these cards are just right. They're like that porridge. From the 3 bears. So the setup is you get an ace followed by a 3 or whatever card you want. And in this case, if it's a 3, guess how many cards you're going to deal on top of that? That's right. 1, 2, 3. You guys know. Then you put an ace. Then you put another number card. In this case, it's going to be a 4. And on top of that 4, how many cards do we put? That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy. Oh boy, whoever said that my subs are stupid, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Then you put an ace. Then finally the last card, which is a 5. And on this one we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And lastly, the last ace. And this is the hot setup that goes on top of the deck. So this is based on an idea by Marlowe called the throw cut. The throw cut. It goes all the way back to one of his earlier publications. I believe it was Cardition. But this is a very effective and pretty simple way of producing a card from the top of the deck, seemingly after cutting the deck with one hand here. So if you ever are in an accident where you lose whatever limb, whatever shin limb, then you could do this trick. And people think that you're a magic superstar. So here's what you're going to do for the move. Here's the hot and ready explanation. First step is you need a pinky break of about half the deck. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be precise. But but you just need a little bit of a pinky break there that you get just by pulling down with your pinky until you reach a sufficient amount of cards there. So usually I like to go for half the deck. That's kind of a hot way to do it. Then after that, you have the next move, which is pretty much the only move. So what you're going to do is the actual mechanics of the throw cut. So you're going to put a little bit of pressure with your left thumb on the upper left corner of the deck. You see there's a little bit of pressure. It's like you're not telling it, hey man, smoke this. You're like, hey man, it'd be really cool if you smoke. Like a little bit of pressure, not a lot of pressure. So you put a little bit of pressure, and what's going to happen in a moment is that you're going to give an outwardly sort of gesture in this sort of direction towards the right. What that's going to do, once you do it correctly, is that all the cards below the top card are going to get launched out and tossed on a table just like that. And it's going to be all the cards above your break. So it's going to look like that in action. So these are all the cards below the top card that you had the pressure on. What this is going to seem like is that half just came from the top of the deck and you've cut the cards. That's the approximation of what you're trying to do here. But because you put pressure on the top card, guess what? The top card stays on top of the deck. And you could do whatever fancy way you want of showing and displaying that top card. And the first one's going to be an ace. So you show the ace and you say, oh boy, I'm going to cut right to all the aces with one hand. Now what's going to happen here is that this half needs to go on top of this half. It looks like a cut if you put this half down, just like that. Then you grab this half and put it on top. It just looks like you cut the deck. So that could pass off as a cut. If you want, you could do another little false cut here, which is you Charlie air cut and you keep a break so that you immediately go on the table. You deposit everything above the break on the table and cut the cards this way. So that's just a quick false cut you could do that looks like you just given the deck two cuts. So that's another hot technique you could do here. So one more time, you're in preparation H for the move. You pull down with your pinky. You see it, pinky? Pressure with the thumb. I'm going to do some hot South African slow motion for you guys here. Here we go. Talk about production value. So you do the move again, and this time you're left with a 3 on top of the deck. So this time you could say, oh, whoops, it turns out this 3 is not an ace. Ha! Who figured that it's not an ace, it's a 3? But that means that your card, the ace is 3 from the top of the deck here. And this, you turn over the 3, you put it face down on the table, and you count 3 cards from this half onto this half. It's a little bit discrepant, but it flies over most spectators that are on cough syrup. So here you have the second ace produced, and you're going to produce the 2 remaining aces in the exact same way. So you retrieve the deck, you pull down with your pinky, you press with your thumb, you do the move, and you show the next card. Notice that it's the 4. That's right, the clever 4 that we've placed earlier. Turn it back down, count 4 cards on top of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys know the words, and we get another ace. And that's pretty much what you're doing here. If you want, you can add one of these little false cuts, one of those. You could do one of these, one of those, or you could just do the one from earlier. That's pretty easy. Depending on your skill level, this is where you have the ability to show off and show the spectators how little of a life you have. So one last time, you do the move. You show this card to be a 5, and now you do the last 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and guess what? You have successfully produced the 4 aces, and the spectators think that you are a card god. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to do all the things that people do, and stay in school. Don't do drugs, and well, I'm gonna go figure out different ways to use a toaster oven. When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.